Strike while the iron's hot, Jediah. Strike while the iron's hot. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today I want to do a follow-up and a continuation of probably the last video that I've done here about the former disgraced Laverne police officer who has actually become something of a household name as of late, the infamous Miss Megan Hall, or should I say Mrs.? Because yes, that's right, folks. She is in fact still married. And even stranger than fiction, there are reports out just this morning that her husband has in fact decided to stick by her side. Can you believe this? Now, folks, if you've been living under a rock for the last week or so and have no idea who this Megan Hall character is, well, let me brush you up on a couple of things. Here she be right here, looking a bit like a bobblehead with that big old 8 head. That's right. It's not even a 4 head. It's a 4x2, an 8 head. That's probably. Yeah, if you have no idea who Megan Hall is, it's again this young lady right here who has made national news from a little small town outside of Nashville. Let me correct that. In the last video, I said that it was somewhere in Nashville or in Nashville. It's not. I guess it's near Nashville, in Tennessee. Who the hell knows? Laverne County. If anybody knows geographically where in relation to Nashville this place is at, please comment down below and let me know. Supposedly some sort of a small town. Mrs. Megan Hall was a police officer there, and some kind of a way it made national news when she, and I'm guessing like 6 other police officers, were fired for fooling around on the job. And boy, oh boy, since doing that video, so many others have done videos. I see this all over TikTok. I ran across this video right here of the infamous Mrs. Megan Hall riding the mechanical bull and looking like she's having quite the good time while doing so as well. Yeah, it made national news that like 6 of her co-workers, other police officers, were fired because she ran through the entire crew. Ain't no fun if the team can't get some. Like, there's so many sayings that came from this, so many memes that came from this on the After Prison Show fan page on Facebook. I saw so many memes about this chick, and I just think to myself, oh, God, you know, as funny as this is it a bit in poor taste? Because, folks, this video is not so much about Mrs. Megan Hall, even though it probably will be quite a bit about her, but more importantly about her poor husband named Jediah Hall. Now, folks, I'm no archaeologist, but Jediah, I don't want to sound stereotypical here, so forgive me for this. It sounds Amish. Could that, in fact, be the reason why her husband has decided to stay by her side through this tumultuous infidelity? I pose that question to all of you. You be the judge. Is in fact Jediah an Amish name? Like I said, folks, I'm running across this story just this morning. This was actually posted on the After Prison Show fan page as well on Facebook with a headline that reads, "Report." You know it's serious when it starts with the word report. Husband of fired Tennessee cop sticking by wife after her alleged sex romp with 6 colleagues. Try to say that 6 times fast. Man, shout out to Laverne County, where there ain't shit else to do but cheat on your wife or husband in this particular matter and, get down with the town, so to speak. The husband of a Tennessee police officer is sticking by his wife after she was fired for allegedly having sexual relations with at least 6 colleagues, according to a report. The Laverne Police Department made national headlines this past week after Officer Megan Hall was fired for allegedly engaging in sexual relations with fellow officers, including while on duty and inside city-owned property. Car number 4, we're not going to be able to report. We're balls deep in something at the moment. I actually got that from the comments of my last video when I tried to make a similar joke and I said we're a little tied up at the moment. And somebody rebutted that saying you should have said balls deep. I am happy I got the opportunity to use that. Yeah, man. Megan Hall, hey, she was friendly with everybody on the force. Now, I have read speculation that there is, in fact, body cam footage of some of these sexual acts, and that supposed body cam footage exists somewhere, possibly on her OnlyFans. I'm not necessarily sure. I wonder if she or possibly her husband has done an interview since this situation has taken place. I can't imagine how many people have possibly reached out to her and her husband trying to get them to do an interview, especially with the fact that Jediah has decided to stick by his wife's side. Shout out to this dude. It don't matter how many Jodies were involved in this situation. This chick legit had, in fact, Jody number 10. It was that many men. Almost. The story says 6, but you got to imagine it started with like 3. Now it's multiplied by 2 to 6. If we just double it, well then, that would be 12. That would be a dozen. And yeah, look, one thing that I want to mention real quick, I'm going to make a lot of jokes in this for your entertainment. Such a sick world that we live in. We make fun of people just for the amusement of others. But anyways, that's what I do. I'll make fun of myself as well. I'm a piece of shit. What? You really got to strike while the iron's hot. If this story signifies anything, it is strike while the iron is hot. Jediah, Megan Hall, take this opportunity and run with it. Write a book like Harry Styles. Expose your entire royal family for monetary gains. Isn't that his name? Harry Styles? Harry Tubman, right? Hey, it was just a joke. I know. Joe, you are too much. What time is it? 6:37 in the morning. What are you doing? Tuesday morning, 6:37. Please comment down below. Yo, take this opportunity and strike while the iron's hot. Jediah and Megan Hall. You could write a book. You could make a killing. You could go on Oprah. You could get a fucking reality show. The After Police Show. I'm trying to tell y'all. Don't let me give you the game. The game is to be sold, not told. I am giving it to you, gifting it to you. Sort of like Megan Hall was doing on city property. What does that even mean? Girl, what was you doing? How you gonna come home and look at your husband with a straight face knowing damn well he's on the police force too? I would learn. Honey, how was your day at the office? Have you been drinking milk? Is that a milk mustache or a pearl necklace? Oh, Joe, you're too much. You're too much. But Joe, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity with this. You could do the whole talk show circuit. Good Morning America, Oprah. Anybody would have you on and pay you as well. Make sure you know your time is worth money. Now, I can't afford to pay you, but if you felt so inclined to want to share your story, I open the floor to either one of you. Please come on After Prison Show. I mean, not literally. Partake in an interview process here on this channel. I'd be so obliged. So she was having sex inside of city-owned property. Her husband is sticking by her side. The disgraced cop is also accused of sending nude photos and taking her top off at a Girls Gone Wild party at a sergeant's house. We learned about that in the first video. The sex scandal led to 5 officers, including Megan Hall, being fired and 3 others suspended. The small Nashville area police force was reduced by 12% after the department's internal evaluation. That shit is crazy. Megan Hall slept with 12% of her co-workers. That shit sounds preposterous. And yet this good man, this upstanding, righteous man, Jediah, builds houses without even power tools in Amish land, standing by his wife's side. Good on you, Jediah. Good on you. It would be in this story that I would actually learn that her husband was in fact a part of the police force. Can you imagine his constituents, his co-workers, his partner, possibly? He was a deputy for the sheriff's department. She was a police officer. I figure those are 2 completely different forces. But that didn't stop Miss Megan Hall, from letting the force be with her, literally. I'm trying to tell you, these memes that I have seen in relation to this chick are outlandish. And it just begs the question, Does her husband use social media? Now, with a name like Jediah, I would beg to differ that he probably does not. He doesn't have a smartphone. He's got a stick. I'm going to holler at you. I don't know how you would communicate with a stick. But anyways, I just feel for this dude, thinking that if this guy gets on Facebook, on the internet at all, and sees these memes about his wife, honey, we're gonna get beyond this. We're gonna weather this storm. You've gotten through much worse, haven't you? God, I can't even look at you the same. You are used. God, so used. My God, she is fucking damaged goods. Now, I need to make mention of this without the jokes. Of course, there has been mention of her mental health coming into question. She's been labeled as an alcoholic, having a drinking problem, even going as far as saying that she's pointed an unloaded gun at her head just to hear the sound. They would actually make mention of that in this particular story. So, I hope that she is okay. Obviously, the way that she decided to cope with whatever is going on in her life is with the use of alcohol and penises. Despite the alleged infidelity, Coffee County deputy, he's for a different area, obviously. You've got Laverne County, where she was riding for or on the entire police force, and then you've got Coffee County, where I'm guessing her husband, Jediah Hall, Megan Hall's husband, works at, and is sticking by his wife's side and attempting to save the marriage. What's left to save? Because ain't nothing been left to the imagination. You got to imagine. Not only did these dudes run through your wife's stick, man, they probably punished that shit. They probably beat the walls down in that joint. They probably renovated that shit. There's a saying while in prison, when you're talking to your girl on the phone and there's the high likelihood and possibility that Jody number 10 has entered the chat. And you'll just make a little snide comment in passing, sort of laughing like, hey, just make sure he leaves some walls up for me, girl. What am I doing? What is this? Yeah, girl. yeah. Hey, just make sure he leaves some walls up for me, girl. God, I know he's there. He's probably listening right now. She banged on you. Yeah, she did. Let's try to call her right back. She's got to pick this phone up. Megan! Maggie! Mommy! Mama! Sorry, I get a little carried away with it. I don't know how he's doing it. He's more of a man than I am. But he's trying to salvage his marriage. Jediah Hill's boss said, you've got the co-workers, the man's boss, taking questions in interviews about this. Has Jediah Hall spoken up at all? I keep wanting to say Jonah Hill. I don't know why, but it's Jediah Hall, not Jonah Hill. Those are two totally different people. Coffee County Sheriff Chad Parton told the outlet, I have offered and extended to him any resource that he needs. Stickman, I think that is the absolute last thing that he needs right now. Thank you. You mean to tell me that there's other police officers willing to help me with my wife too? Do you know how bad that makes me feel? He's offered to him I'm willing to help. I'm your boss. I'm willing to help and step inside. I have offered and extended to him any resources that he needs. I think it's a surplus of resources that landed this couple in the sticky situation they find themselves in currently. Boss man. Just my opinion, though. And all he says is, Sheriff, I just want to work for the citizens of Coffee County, and I love what I'm doing. All jokes aside, shout out to Jediah Hall. I have made mention of the fact that a GoFundMe should be created in this man's honor. There ain't many good men out there. A few good men like Tom Cruise. in that movie with Jack Nicholson from way back in the day. Good movie. But name another that would stick by anybody's side, man or woman, who got wind, not only got wind and became privy to information that your spouse, your significant other, was partaking with the entire team. Group activities. And I'm not talking about a swim meet, but I am talking about some kids at the pool, so to speak. Taking some kids to the pool, so to speak. Yeah, name another. I don't think anybody would stick by anybody's side if you learned of some shit like this that was taking place on the side. I don't condone what went on at the LaVerge Police Department, but he sure hasn't broken any laws. He's a victim here. There's not a blemish on his record. He's doing a phenomenal job. Parton said. The mention of phenomenal twice makes me question. It's a tick. It's a sign. It's a give. Phenomenal. He's doing a phenomenal job. It almost makes me, Parton, boss man, makes me wonder. Were you privy to this information? Probably was. LaVerge County, Coffee County. These sound like small little podunk towns. And it don't take much for not only rumors, but also old ladies to obviously get around, sadly enough. One of the suspended officers, Patrick Maliaku, told internal investigators that Megan Hall would tell her colleagues she was in an open relationship. Still, Jediah Hall really wasn't on board. Babe, where are you going? I'm going to sleep with everybody that you and I both know. Well, I don't really approve of that, but okay, I guess if I can't stop you. Try. You'll have to do so over my dead body. I'd make another joke right here, but it would probably be in poor taste. I'll just leave it right there. Furthermore, Maliaku told investigators that there were concerns for Megan Hall's mental health, claiming that she had been drinking heavily and had pointed an empty gun to her head to hear the sound. I've made a lot of jokes about this chick, but mental health is certainly nothing to play with. I, suffer from it. A lot of people suffer from issues related to mental health. I truly hope that she finds additional ways to cope with whatever's going on in her life other than partaking in nefarious activities with multiple partners. It's just not right, especially if you got a husband who's willing to stick by your side and wanting to work it out, or don't. If that's not what your game plan is, Megan, just leave that man well enough alone. Y'all go your separate ways. There's so much opportunity in this particular situation, and the only thing standing between you is air and opportunity, right? Between you and that particular opportunity. There's books that could be written. There's, speaking engagements, going on the talk show circuit. The OnlyFans would be a critical mass. The amount of subscribers you would probably have because of your popularity. Get your husband involved in that shit too for whatever, I just don't know. I think this is a story that took off like wildfire. There were so many people who were talking about this story. And at the end of the day, the only thing that's really important here is, man, shout out to Dude for being one of the good ones. You know what they say about that? Nice guys finish last. Or maybe there's another guy finishing after you. Something along them lines. Anyways, that's all I got in relation to this. I just found it completely worth noting that this overnight celebrity, Mrs. Megan Hall, her husband, Jediah, is sticking around and by the side of his old lady, who certainly had a few on the side herself. That's all I got, folks. I hope this was a video you guys enjoyed. If it was, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!